They laughed at her scars, whispered behind coffee cups, made cruel jokes just loud enough to sting. To them, Isabella was just a disfigured waitress, easy to mock, easy to ignore. But what they didn't know, she's Staff Sergeant Cruz, a Marine, a war hero who pulled her unit from a burning convoy in Kandahar, those scars earned in fire and blood. Stick around because the same crowd that mocked her is about to go silent. When the Marines show up, cameras roll, and a nation watches. The only thing more brutal than war is the truth. Justice doesn't knock. It storms in. We love to see where our viewers are from. Comment your location and the time you found this video. Subscribe to stay connected. Marcus Thorne adjusts his Armani tie, savoring the familiar rush of dominance as the bell above May's diner door announces his arrival. The morning sun catches his Rolex casting assertive gleams across the worn countertops, a perfect metaphor for his presence in this pedestrian establishment. These are his moments when the world bends to his will, when lesser beings scatter before his designer wake. The waitress's scars catch his eye immediately, angry ribbons across her face that have no place in his curated world. Marcus's lip curls instinctively. How dare they put someone so damaged in front of paying customers? His golden pen feels warm in his breast pocket, a talisman of his authority as he approaches the counter. Shouldn't you be working somewhere less visible? The words drip from his mouth like honey-coated acid, loud enough for nearby diners to hear. The back, perhaps? Or better yet, somewhere customers don't have to see? His manicured hand waves dismissively at her face. The waitress, Isabella, her name tag declares, meets his gaze with something that makes his certainty waver. Not fear, not shame. Something harder. "I've served men like you in worse places," she says quietly, her voice carrying the weight of sand and gunpowder. The diner falls silent. Marcus Thorne's Rolex ticks loudly in the void, each click suddenly intrusive. Phones emerge from pockets and purses their cameras, capturing his perfectly tailored discomfort. His golden pen grows heavy against his chest as scattered whispers reach his ears. Veteran, hero, disgrace. "Do you know who I am?" Marcus demands, but his voice lacks its usual imperial certainty. Isabella's eyes never waver, eyes that have seen things his corner office nightmares couldn't touch. The familiar social media notification chime sounds from multiple devices and his stomach tightens. This isn't following his script. A man in a worn military jacket stands slowly from his booth. "She's Sergeant Cruz, sir. Purple Heart recipient. Saved her entire unit in Kandahar." The words land like body blows, each one chipping at Marcus Thorne's carefully constructed armor. The phones keep recording their digital eyes, witnessing his empire's first crack. Marcus's hand strays to his golden pen, his symbol of power, of contracts signed and destinies altered. But today, against this scarred waitress with steel in her spine, the pen feels like a toy. His world of boardrooms and bottom lines suddenly seems small against the weight of her silence. Type honor if you've ever judged someone before knowing their story. Marcus Thorne's mind races as he remembers his father's words. Power isn't about having authority. It's about never being questioned. But here, surrounded by the growing whispers and recording phones, a question echoes in his mind. What happens when unquestioned authority meets unshakable dignity? The hashtag #BarcherThronesFall flashes on a nearby phone screen, and Marcus feels the first tremor of real fear. In the coming hours, his carefully constructed world will face a truth he never expected to confront. His golden pen catches the light one final time as he turns to leave, but the damage is done. The bell chimes his exit, but this time it sounds like a warning. Will Marcus Thorne's power survive its collision with true strength? The answer will shake not just his world, but the foundations of privilege itself. Marcus Thorne stares at his reflection in the floor-to-ceiling windows of his corner office, adjusting his Italian silk tie with practiced precision. The morning sun catches his platinum Rolex, but the usual satisfaction of seeing his perfect image is tainted by an unfamiliar anxiety. His phone buzzes again, the 47th notification in the past hour. "Sir, psst." His assistant Catherine's voice trembles slightly. "The video from May's Diner has reached 500,000 views. Throne shame is trending nationwide." Marcus Thorne's manicured fingers grip his mahogany desk until his knuckles whiten. The golden fountain pen, a symbol of his first billion-dollar deal, sits accusingly before him. He'd always cherished its weight, but now it feels like a burden. Opening his laptop, he forces himself to watch the video again. His own voice, dripping with cruel amusement, echoes through premium speakers. "What happened to your face, sweetheart? Couldn't afford a decent plastic surgeon." The camera captures Isabella Cruz's expression perfectly, the flash of pain quickly masked by military discipline. Someone in the background whispers, "That's Staff Sergeant Cruz," and Marcus Thorne feels his carefully constructed world shift beneath his feet. A quick search reveals what his arrogance had blinded him to: Isabella Cruz, decorated Marine Corps combat medic, Echo 12 Division. Distinguished Service Cross recipient. The article details how she pulled 2 Marines from a burning transport under heavy fire, her own face and arms bearing the scars of her courage. The golden pen slips from his trembling fingers, clattering against the marble floor. The sound ricochets like a gunshot through his silent office, making him flinch. "Sir!" Catherine returns her heels, clicking ominously against the marble. "Veterans United just announced a protest. They're mobilizing outside our headquarters. CNN wants a statement." Marcus Thorne's mind races back 20 years to a small apartment in Brooklyn. His father's voice rough from factory work. "Never judge someone's scars, son. They tell stories you couldn't imagine." He'd forgotten that lesson, buried it under designer suits and quarterly reports. His phone lights up with another notification. The military community is rallying behind Juche throne shame. A viral tweet reads, "From the man who mocked a hero's scars, what does your soul look like?" Marcus Thorne. Type shame if you've ever witnessed someone's true colors revealed. Opening his desk drawer, Marcus Thorne pulls out the framed photo he keeps hidden. Himself at 18 acne scars, visible standing proud at his first job. Before the cosmetic procedures, before the wealth, before he became this. "Your father's on line 1, Catherine announces. "He says he saw the video." Marcus Thorne's hand hovers over the phone. The last time they spoke, he'd dismissed his father's simple lifestyle as beneath him. Now shame burns in his throat like acid. A notification shows Isabella Cruz's military unit posting about her 13 years of service, 37 lives, saved 3 Purple Hearts. Each fact hits like a physical blow. The PR team streams into his office tablets and crisis management plans ready. But Marcus Thorne barely hears them. He's watching his reflection in the window, really seeing it for the first time in years. The perfect suit, the perfect hair, the perfect skin, all masking an imperfect truth he's tried desperately to hide. "Sir," Catherine interrupts again. "Your brother called. He's a VA counselor now, remember? He says you've become everything you used to hate about the corporate world." Marcus Thorne's carefully manicured fingers trace the edge of his desk. He thinks about Isabella Cruz's scars, earned in service, worn with dignity. He thinks about his own scars, not just the physical ones he'd erased, but the deeper ones he'd inflicted on others in his climb to the top. The golden pen lies abandoned on the floor, its gleam dulled by the morning sun. Once a symbol of his success, now it reminds him of every signature on every document that prioritized profit over people. "Trending update, sir," a PR intern announces. "The video's been shared by 3 Medal of Honor recipients. They're calling for accountability." Marcus Thorne watches his empire's foundation crack, built on an image that's rapidly crumbling. In the reflection of his office window, he swears he can see his younger self, hungry, authentic, unscarred by ambition, looking back with disappointment. His phone buzzes one final time. It's a message from his father. Remember who you were before you forgot what matters. The words echo in his mind as he realizes in trying to erase every imperfection, he'd erased his humanity, along with them. Have you ever forgotten who you were while becoming who you thought you should be? Marcus Thorne's manicured fingers drummed against his mahogany desk, each tap echoing like thunder in the suffocating silence of his corner office. The protesters had materialized like ghosts at dawn, not with rage or chaos, but with a dignity that cut deeper than any fury could. Through the floor-to-ceiling windows of Thorne Enterprises, he watched them gather their military uniforms, creating a sea of honor that made his designer suit feel like a costume. His golden fountain pen, the symbol of countless mergers and power plays, sat heavy in his pocket, its weight suddenly oppressive. Marcus Thorne pulled it out, studying his warped reflection in its surface. The same face that had sneered at Isabella Cruz's scars now looked haunted, uncertain. Sir. His assistant's voice crackled through the intercom. CNN is live outside. They're requesting a statement about the Forged Scars of Honor movement. Marcus Thorne's throat tightened. The hashtag had exploded overnight. His cruel words at May's diner played on repeat across every platform. Each share, each retweet, each news segment stripped away another layer of his carefully constructed facade. His phone buzzed incessantly. Board members demanding explanations, shareholders panicking as the stock price began its ominous descent. The whoomp, whoomp, whoomp of news helicopters circled overhead like vultures. Marcus Thorne watched through his window as another group of veterans joined the silent vigil below. Their medals caught the morning sun, each glint a stark reminder of the sacrifice he had mocked. These weren't angry protesters with signs and chants. Their quiet presence spoke volumes more than shouting ever could. "The Asian markets are opening, sir," his CFO reported, voice tight with tension. "We're seeing significant volatility. Our partners in Seoul are concerned about the optics." Marcus Thorne's empire, built on the foundation of perfect appearances and flawless presentation, was beginning to show its first cracks. He had always believed in the power of external beauty, had weaponized it to climb to the top. But now, watching the veterans stand vigil below their scars worn like badges of honor, that belief felt hollow. His golden pen slipped from trembling fingers, clattering across his desk. On his computer screen, social media continued its relentless assault. Videos of his mockery at the diner played in an endless loop, each replay accompanied by veterans sharing their own stories of sacrifice and survival. The hashtag, Forged Scars of Honor, trended higher by the minute. "Your 10 a.m. with the Tokyo investors." His assistant's voice wavered. "They've canceled." They cited reputational concerns. Marcus Thorne's reflection in the window showed a man he barely recognized. The polished exterior remained, but something was crumbling beneath it. In the growing crowd below, he spotted Isabella Cruz, her battle scars visible even from this height, standing tall among her fellow veterans. Her dignity made his cruelty seem even more grotesque. Type honor in the comments if you've ever witnessed someone's perfect facade crack under the weight of truth. The helicopter blades chopped through his thoughts, their rhythm matching his racing heart. His phone lit up with another notification. Major beauty brands, once eager to partner with Thorne Enterprises, were quietly distancing themselves. The empire he had built on superficial perfection was revealing its foundation of sand. "Have you ever watched your world unravel thread by thread?" Marcus Thorne whispered to his reflection, the golden pen lying abandoned on his desk. "Have you ever realized that the monster in the story was you?" Marcus Thorne's footsteps echo through the corporate hallway, each step heavier than the last. The golden pen, His symbol of power, the one he'd used to sign countless dismissive memos about discretionary veteran support programs, feels like lead in his trembling hand. Through the glass doors, he can see them waiting, dozens of veterans, their faces stern, many bearing visible scars, like Isabella Cruz's. "You can still back out," whispers Janet, his PR director. But Marcus Thorne knows he can't. The viral video of his cruelty at May's Diner has reached 20 million views. Striker Thorne's shame continues trending, and the company's stock has dropped 15% since yesterday. His phone buzzes again. Another message from his father, retired Sergeant Major James Thorne. 25 years since you walked away from our family's military legacy. Show me who you really are, Marcus. The words burn like acid in his chest. Marcus Thorne adjusts his tie, catching his reflection in the chrome elevator doors. The arrogant smirk he wore while mocking Isabella Cruz is gone, replaced by something unfamiliar: vulnerability. The same golden pen had signed her dismissal from the corporate dining program just hours after their confrontation. Now it would sign something very different. The doors open. Camera lights flash. Marcus Thorne steps forward, his designer shoes clicking against marble. Veterans line both sides of the path to the podium, including several from May's Diner. Their silence weighs more than any shout could. His voice cracks. Marcus Thorne clears his throat, gripping the podium. "I stand before you today not as the CEO of Thorne Enterprises, but as a man who lost his way." The golden pen trembles in his hand. "Yesterday at May's Diner, I showed the worst of humanity to Isabella Cruz, a woman who showed the best of it through her service." His eyes find Isabella in the crowd, her scars proud and visible. She doesn't flinch from his gaze. Neither does she offer forgiveness. She doesn't have to. Effective immediately, Thorne Enterprises is establishing a $50 million fund for veteran support services. The pen moves across paper, each stroke feeling like penance. Additionally, we're launching a corporate initiative to hire veterans across all levels of our organization with specific support for those with visible and invisible wounds of war. Someone starts clapping. The sound spreads, but Marcus Thorne raises his hand. "Please, don't. This isn't about applause or redemption. This is about responsibility, about remembering who we are and who we should be." His phone buzzes one final time. His father's message is simple: "Your mother would be proud. Come home for dinner, son. It's been too long." Marcus Thorne's voice shakes as he concludes, "To Isabella Cruz, and every veteran I've failed through my ignorance and cruelty, I cannot undo yesterday. But I can change tomorrow. Starting now. Type change if you believe everyone deserves a chance to make things right." The golden pen, his father's gift upon becoming CEO, feels different now. As cameras flash and reporters shout questions, Marcus Thorne slips it into his pocket, knowing it will never again sign anything without remembering this moment, this transformation, this return to the values his veteran father tried to teach him so long ago. Isabella Cruz approaches the podium. Marcus Thorne steps back, giving her the space and respect he should have shown from the beginning. The future stretches before him, uncertain, but clearer than it's been in 25 years. On our sons. Thorne change begins trending within minutes, replacing Shutters Furan's Thorne shame. But Marcus Thorne isn't watching the numbers anymore. He's watching the veterans, his father's message burning in his pocket, remembering who he was meant to be. Marcus Thorne stands at the back of the VFW hall, his expensive suit no longer a shield of superiority, but a reminder of the man he used to be. The weight of his golden pen, once a symbol of his power to destroy careers with a single signature, sits heavily in his pocket. A stark contrast to the lightness he feels watching Isabella Cruz approach the podium. The melodic chime of medals being pinned pierces the reverent silence. Each crystalline note strikes deep into Marcus Thorne's chest, reminding him of the harsh clatter his pen made when he'd slammed it down at May's diner, thinking he could diminish a hero with cruel words about her scars. "I was so wrong," Marcus Thorne whispers to himself, his fingers brushing against the pen that now represents something entirely different. The same pen that had just signed off on a multi-million-dollar veterans support initiative, his personal contribution to changing the narrative around visible trauma. The applause swells through the hall as Isabella receives her recognition. Marcus Thorne's hands shake slightly as he joins in, remembering how those same hands had once gestured mockingly at her scars. The viral video of his cruelty seems like a lifetime ago, though it's been only 24 hours since his world turned upside down. "Today we honor not just physical courage," the VFW commander announces, "but the courage to change." Marcus Thorne feels dozens of eyes turn toward him, not with the deference he once demanded, but with cautious acceptance of his transformation. Standing at the podium, Marcus Thorne removes his golden pen from his pocket. Under the warm lights of the VFW hall, he signs the final document establishing the Visible Valor Foundation. The scratch of the pen against paper echoes his inner monologue, each stroke a step away from prejudice, each line a bridge towards understanding. "I learned the hardest lesson of my life yesterday." Marcus Thorne addresses the crowd, his voice carrying the weight of genuine remorse. "I confused appearance with worth power, with strength. To Isabella Cruz and every veteran bearing visible or invisible scars of service, your marks are medals of honor, not targets for ridicule." The golden pen catches the light as Marcus Thorne places it in a display case alongside the Foundation's charter. No longer a weapon of corporate warfare, but a testament to transformation. The video of this moment begins trending with "Thorne transformed," a stark contrast to yesterday's Thorne Falls. As Marcus Thorne watches Isabella Cruz lead a standing ovation, he understands the ultimate truth. Real power lies not in the ability to tear others down, but in the courage to build them up. His journey from mockery to meaning will forever remind him that true strength bears its scars with dignity. Comment below with 1 if you believe in the power of transformation. The ceremony concludes with Marcus Thorne stepping aside, letting the spotlight remain where it belongs, on the heroes whose scars tell stories of sacrifice. His golden pen, now a museum piece, will remind future generations that change begins with a single moment of understanding. Share this moment. Marcus Thorne thinks, "Not for me, but for every person who's ever felt judged by their scars. We're all part of this change." Type valor if you believe every scar tells a story of strength.